Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jazz Talk, where I interview local jazz musicians. This week is going to be a little bit different. Of course, we have Greenlee today, but we're also shaping this as a job interview. So for the listeners at home, this interview will be semi-serious and semi-satirical. This is also a warning for you.
Oh, perfect.
It's kind of a little bit of both, but we'll shape it the same way as every interview goes.
Okay.
So first off, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do here at WT.
Okay. Well, I am a sophomore here at WT. I guess I technically just finished my fall semester. Whoop whoop. Actually, I still have like 3 finals, but whatever. I'm a music therapy student here, so that's really fun. I'm not gonna get too much into detail because that will be later.
No.
But music therapy is basically just using music for therapeutic goals that are like non-musical. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. What else do I do here? I don't know. I go to class and that's about it that I do at WT.
Yeah.
I guess I help with Jazzy Fridays sometimes.
Yeah. Not officially yet.
Not official yet.
And then the next question I have for you is, of course, you're a vocalist right now, but you used to be a percussionist. Mm-hmm. So I guess in general, how long have you been doing music for? You can answer both percussion-wise and also vocally-wise.
That's actually kind of a big question because I started piano lessons when I was like, oh boy, like I was little, like probably like 2nd grade, 3rd grade maybe, like really little. But obviously before that, like I had been like singing in church, which I don't know if like, you count that, but like it was still like I was like still being involved with the music because of like how the way that like because we always like sing out of like hymnals, so like you could like I could always like see the music always, so like I've like seen music my entire life.
I see. Yeah.
So like but like started learning it obviously like whenever I started like band in like 6th grade, so yeah, I guess.
I see. Understandable.
Yeah.
And then for percussion wise, when did you start getting into percussion?
Well, I guess I just started getting in whenever I was like in 6th grade. Whenever, actually, fun fact, this is really funny. I was originally like whenever like they like auditioned me or whatever for like what instrument I was gonna play. I was supposed to be a flute because my mom has a flute, and so like he was like, yeah, we'll just take that flute and like get it fixed up, and like it's okay. Like it's just like it was more of a matter of convenience type thing. But then that band director left. So he wasn't there anymore.
I see.
And so the new band director came in and he was like talking to us like the very first day of class, and he was like, now does anybody like have any like background with like piano or anything? And I was like, I do, I've been playing piano for a while. And he goes, okay, you're a percussionist now. And I was like, all right. So that's actually how I got into percussion, I guess. But my dad was also a percussionist back in the day, you know.
I see. Yeah. So I know you're not in a jazz band setting most of the time.
Yeah.
But what are your opinions on jazz music and like when you start figuring out what kind of this genre of music is?
I think that like I don't know a exact like time I like figured out like what jazz is, because I think I've always grown up around it. Because like as a kid I would like listen to Christmas music all the time, and as we know, like a lot of Christmas music is jazz centered.
Yeah.
So I think I've like just like grown up around it a lot. So I think that like I've understood the concept of it for a long time, but I don't think I put a name to it until I don't know, I probably just like heard it somewhere and I was like, yeah, that's what that is. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there was a specific time that I can like place. So
yeah, I see. Well, besides like Christmas music, do you find yourself listening to it often, or just like if it's on you'll listen to it?
Yeah, a lot of times like if I really have to lock in on something, I'll put on like a jazz playlist, like, you know, just in the background. Pretty fire.
I see. Do you know of any jazz artists that you truly enjoy? That you're like, from the very few you listen to, are there any that stand out to you?
Nothing like big. Because I guess I don't like, okay, when I listen to jazz, it's not like for the sake of like the artists themselves. It's just a matter of like the music. So like I don't like pick out artists to listen to. I just listen to the genre as a whole.
I see. Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, no.
I see. Well, I guess we could get to the more in-depth part that will suit you, what you can talk about mostly. So here at Jazzy Fridays, obviously me and Elliot talk a lot about how much we appreciate jazz and how much jazz really truly does for people. And of course, in music therapy, you find ways for music to help people. So I guess the first part I want to ask, so obviously we encourage people to listen to live jazz a lot. Why do you think that's so important for people to listen to live music, not just wearing headphones, but actually listen to, a string being plucked or these instruments buzzing? Why do you think it's so important for the human body and the mind to listen to music live?
I think that it makes people have a more deep connection with like the music itself. So like if like you're watching it live, you can like, because I think a lot of times in like, especially like movie scores, people like forget that like actual people are playing the music, because like most of the time it's just like background, and like people don't like focus on it because they're focusing on the acting, which is like, whatever. But also I don't think people realize that it's a real thing that people are doing until like it's played right in front of them and they're like, oh, that's sick,
Yeah.
And I think it like, I don't know, I think it's just like a bigger impact that the music has in general rather than just hearing it.
I see, yeah. And then can you get into a little detail about what exactly music therapy is? I know you've talked about it a bit on the show, not during the interview part, but for the audience that only listens to the interview parts, can you tell them a little bit about exactly what music therapy is and, how WT is involved in it, or what WT does exactly?
Yeah. So music therapy is, like I said a second ago, using music for therapeutic goals that are not musical. So music therapy is just used as like talk, or okay, so like talk therapy, like regular, like, or quote unquote regular, like therapists, right? What you typically imagine, you can use that as the same thing in music therapy as just like as using music as your medium instead of talking, or instead of workouts and like physical therapy, or like speech rehabilitation and like speech therapy or something, you know what I mean? So it's like just using music as a means to typically express yourself, or helping people express themselves. So an example of like being able to help people express themselves would be me. I could like play something on the guitar or the piano, or even just sing something, and I could have it just like going, and then I could like give my client a drum or something and be like, okay, now just play whatever this music makes you feel. And like that's like a good way to get clients like involved in a session, and like just things like that. And WT is one of like the actually we are, hold on, let me backtrack. Since music therapy is such a smally, that's not a word, but like a smally studied field, there can only be so many in like each region. So the closest school that has music therapy to WT is in Dallas, I think. So like it's like it has to be spread out because it's so like such a small field of study.
I see. Yeah.
So WT is just like one of the places, I guess you could say.
I see. Yeah. How did you decide to go into music therapy?
Well, my band director was talking to me about it senior year, and he was like, I think that you would like really enjoy music therapy, because I was talking to him and I was like, I just don't really know what I want to do. Like, I know that like, I know I want to go to school, but I don't know like what for, and like, I don't know. And he was just like, well, music therapy is like a thing that like is beneficial for people. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I just like found out about it, did some research, and was like, I think I want to do that. So
I see. Yeah. We'll get more into the interview job part of this interview. So first of all, how did you find out about the show that me and Elliot host, Jazzy Fridays? When did you first find out about the show?
I don't know. You were probably just talking about it one time, or I saw a poster and was like, Kevin, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the show?
I like it. What do you mean? I think it's a great show. I think it like is a really good thing for like not necessarily even just jazz musicians in general. Like it's just good to get musicians in and like talk about what they do and why they're passionate about what they do. So I think it's like not even just necessarily good for like jazz people, but like good for musicians as a whole to like be able to talk about what it is that they're passionate about and what it is that they do. Because a lot of times people like see musicians and they're like, oh, well, yeah, you play an instrument. But like people don't know like what all really goes behind it, or like what you're thinking or what you're feeling and everything like that. So I just think that the show is very good in the way that gives that outlet for musicians to talk about what it is that they do.
Yeah. Well, I made that with the whole thought process of doing exactly that, because you never get to really hear what musicians have to say about the music they play. Well, besides being our household, what even is the word? Our go-to music therapist. Of course, you've been decorating the set so far. So if you saw last week's interview, or if you check the Instagram, of course we have the lovely Christmas set going on over here, which Greenlee did most of it, and also she's been taking the pictures for most of the time, because me and Elliot get busy sometimes, or we get sidetracked and forget how to take pictures. Or Elliot
Forget how to? Kevin, that's your major.
Elliot forgets how to. Elliot forgets how to.
Okay.
And of course, you're building your own segment, which, like, Elliot has Elliot Site Reads. I have these interviews, and then you're gonna still have your new segment, which is still unnamed. But can you tell me what exactly your segment is gonna be for the audience that is getting used to hearing a new segment? Like, what exactly is your thought process about the segment, or what are you trying to get across to the audience through the segment?
Yeah. So I think that obviously music therapy isn't a known thing. So I obviously want to advocate for music therapists everywhere and just get it out there. And obviously jazz and music therapy are very closely related, because, well, obviously jazz is music, but it goes deeper than that, because a lot of the times music therapy is improv, as is most fields of study, but music therapy especially, because of the way that its like origins are, I guess. And it's just like the way that people like have to be able to just work on their feet. Like, as a music therapist, I have to be able to come up with new things on the spot. And that's very obviously like jazz, in the way that you improv a lot of things.
Yeah, I see. And then I know you got into it a little bit, but why do you think, out of every genre there is, why do you think jazz and people's emotions have such a close connection? I know it's a lot of improving, you're thinking on the spot, it's just a lot of your emotions. But can you get into more in depth of that, or even like the science behind why it's so hitting to the human emotion?
Like jazz as a whole? I think it's, I don't know the science necessarily behind it, but I do, like, I think it's very like obvious that like people are very like affected, not affected, but like effective in a positive way of jazz in general, because of the way that it like works. And I think that, and I obviously, like you said that, however, I think that it's I don't know why, but like if I did know why, I would be able to like sit here and yap about it for ever, which, because like I think it's so cool that like jazz is such, because typically jazz isn't wordy, like there's not a lot of words in jazz normally, but it still speaks to people so deeply, like it connects to people so much. And like, I don't know, I think it's a very, very interesting thing. But obviously like music therapy is like very important in like connecting to people's emotions. And so like if you take that aspect out of it, and also the aspect of jazz being very emotion forward, like you can just like draw another parallel of how similar that they are, because of the way that like people like almost like need, like jazz for some people is like a need, like it's a need of like an outlet of like, not necessarily like, even if you're not playing it, like it's still a need of outlet of like expressing yourself. And so like, and in music therapy, that's like what we want you to be able to express yourself. And so like it's just a very big thing to like draw from that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Sorry. How do you feel from an outside perspective? I know you're still getting into jazz, you're still learning a lot about it, thanks to me and Elliot. But how do you feel about the influence jazz has in modern music, as you see, you know, these new songs come out, like, for example, Leve using a lot of jazz ideals in it. How do you feel about the influence that jazz has in these modern songs?
I think it's like, it's very, I don't know the word, but it's very like interesting. And I think it's a very cool way of just like, because I think that like music has been one way for so long, and then like the introduction of jazz is like a new thing for people. like obviously it's not necessarily new anymore.
Yeah.
But like I think people are starting to like branch out and like listen to different kinds of music, because if you think about like also like R&B, like that's like a very quote unquote different kind of music than what we are used to. However, it's still like it follows like the same new ideal like as jazz. So it's like a very, I think people are just like almost tired of listening to like the same type of music.
I see,
and
yeah.
so like they like are looking for a new sound almost. Which
see.
obviously like I said, jazz isn't necessarily like a new thing, but like it is still relatively new in comparison to like Mozart and all them.
Yeah.
So
Understandably, yeah. So I know we've talked before that you're interested in jazz singing. Can you tell me why jazz singing is so interesting to you? Because it's very much different from every sorts of singing. Of course, you still have to think of the certain things, but like you said earlier, jazz is very much more instrumental instead of vocal. But what makes you so interested in jazz singing specifically?
I think it would be, well, as just like a student, I think it would be fun to like learn a new like way of singing. However, I also think that it would like, I think it would just be fun. Quite frankly, I think it would just be like more of like another way to express myself. Cause like obviously like singing is fun, but like it can also get stagnant.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I think it would just be a lot of fun to learn something new and learn how to do it well.
I see. Also, again, from an outside perspective, I know you're still kind of new to jazz. You've seen jazz in person, like you've seen the concerts happening here at WT or your friends being jazz musicians themselves. But how do you feel about the direction that jazz is currently going in?
Like as an entire genre? I don't know. Because like I don't necessarily know exactly like where it started. I know that like, so I don't think I have like a great opinion on that. However, I do think that like as any music genre, as any thing that is growing and evolving, I feel like it's like not necessarily going to get quote unquote better, but I do think that it's like going to get more I don't know the word. Sorry. More practiced, I guess, because like even like in school right now, I'm learning a lot of like classical music theory, like I'm being classically trained. However, I think that, and like a lot of schools are already like adapting a new like jazz theory and jazz things like that, which I think should almost be required at this point because of how much jazz is influencing modern music and like how much it's influencing just like the world.
I see. Yeah. Well, I know you haven't been. Yeah, I know you've performed a lot, not specifically jazz, but these next few questions are just about performing in general. So, what has been the best crowd you have ever performed for?
I don't know. Probably just like a crowd full of people that like I know, because like it's like really important to me whenever like my family comes and like watches like my performances and everything, because I can like feel that they're like proud of me, and like that like makes me feel very happy and like good. Like I feel like I'm proud of myself because I feel like I'm like doing a good thing for both them and myself.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Have you ever had to perform while being sick or exhausted? If so, how did you get through it?
I think that I am just exhausted all the time. So I will have to say yes about that one. I think that I just get through it with a lot of hope that I don't mess it up. Because if I do, that would be bad.
I see. How have you evolved musically over the years?
Well, especially since coming to college, it's like, since like this is like majority, like all that I do, I've obviously like become more inclined to like learning how to learn music, if that makes any sense. So I feel like I've like learned better how to be a better musician, in the sense of like just learning what it is like, and pattern recognizing like how things are and like what I need to do to like be productive and be a good musician.
I see. Yeah. Personally, what is the best type of musician to perform with?
I don't know. Probably just like, I don't know. I think just like somebody who like takes what they're doing seriously. Because if I would never want to perform with somebody who's just like doing it and like, they're like, ugh, I have to do this. Like, it's the worst thing ever. Like, I would never want to perform with somebody like that. Like, that would be awful.
Have you heard of any like interesting stories having to deal with music therapy or how music therapy affected someone's life?
Well, I think I can speak for everybody whenever I say this, but like, I think everybody's seen like videos or like heard somebody's like grandma or something being like, they have Alzheimer's and they don't remember anybody's name, but they can like still sit down at the piano and like still remember like this piano piece that they played when they learned when they were like 15 or whatever. And like, that's like probably like one of like the most well known, I guess. But music therapy is just, I don't think of any like specific stories because like I said, it is such a small field of study. So like a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it is just a thing of people being like very, so my brain actually just stopped. But I think it's like, I think music therapy is just like, as a whole, a good thing for people to like be able to express themselves and see what it is that like they want to be, I guess.
I see. Have you ever had any experience like that in person where you're just like watching a concert, even if it's like of people you know, where you're like, so you see something happen in the audience or on the stage where you're just like, you notice more in depthly of what's going on, if that makes sense.
I think that like I have noticed more over the years, like over learning and like talking to people and like seeing how they like interact with their instrument and interact with like the crowd as they're performing. Like I like to watch the conductors as they're also performing because like you can tell like they understand the music so much. I don't want to say so much more than the people playing, but they understand like what it is that they want out of the group. And like in rehearsal, like they're like trying to convey what it is that they precisely that they want out of the group. And I think that it's just a really cool thing to like watch the conductor and like watch how that like all comes together at the concert. And like you can like see them and like just like how proud they are most of the time after finishing. Like that's just I don't know.
So yeah. And then what challenges do musicians face today that older generations didn't have to deal with?
Definitely, I don't want to say more distraction, but definitely the pull of being more distracted with technology and things. Because, like, I don't know, like even like people today, like I see a lot of musicians just like sitting around on their phones, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I don't ever do that because I do, but it's a big distractor because of the way that people like just, I don't know. I feel like people, like musicians specifically, take the time out of their day to not necessarily practice, but to be more like involved with themselves and like their phone and like the way that like they're not working toward something productive, I guess, musically.
I see. Yeah. And then I asked this question to Elliot when I interviewed him for the first time. And it's only right if I ask you. But of course, you're joining the show or the crew of the show at a very high point, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
But what I asked Elliot was, as being the co-host and helping out with the show so much more, what do you hope for the show? Like, what hopes do you have for the show?
Honestly, I kind of hope that the show like gets bigger. I just hope that people more or like recognize it more, and I hope that more people just realize that it's all the good that it's doing and like everything that like people. I just hope it gets more recognition, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And then I also asked Elliot like what ideas he has or what he wants to contribute more to the show. Because of course when I interviewed Elliot, he was my first guest, and it was very much like our first show, so we had no idea what we were doing. Right now we're kind of at a solid point. We're still evolving, obviously, But what do you want to bring to the show? I know you have very different background from us,
Right.
and never really played jazz before. But what do you want to bring to the table?
I think I just want to bring more. I don't know. I just think I want to bring more like people in, which is like, I don't know, kind of a silly thing to say because like obviously like you advocate it very well and like you advertise it very well, but like I don't know, I feel like being another person is obviously just like a good thing to like be another voice for
Different ideas.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And then for you, what besides music, what else inspires you?
Honestly, my friends and my family, and just seeing the way that like they I think that seeing people be so passionate about something, like not even just about music, but like genuinely watching you and like seeing how passionate you are about like photography and things like that, that is so like just genuinely inspiring to me. And like seeing like how passionate you are about things.
I see. Yeah. What is the best advice you have ever gotten relating to music?
I don't know. Probably, I think not necessarily advice, but just like a thing that I've heard a lot is just remembering to not compare yourself to others. And like remembering that everybody's also still learning and still growing as a musician. And so like not to compare where you are with somebody else. Because if they weren't where you are, they will be.
I see.
So.
Yeah. And then I know you're still, like I said before, you're still getting into jazz, but what do you hope for the future of jazz as you're slowly learning more about this entire world? But what do you hope for the future of this genre of music?
I think that I just wish that people like would, because I think that people a lot of times are like, oh yeah, I like jazz. But I think that I wish people would like get into it more, and obviously like talking to myself, but like get into it more and like learn more about it. Because like I don't know, I want to learn more about jazz, obviously, but like I want to like, I wish people would like understand more what it is and like what it's like, what it like the ideals, I guess, of it.
I see. As we're getting close to the interview, is there any other information you want to tell the audience about, of course, music therapy, no other stuff than you've already said? Is there any other information that you want to tell people? Maybe stuff that can help them out if they want some sort of help?
I think it's important to check in on yourself and like take a step back from everything that you're doing, and just realize what you need. Because a lot of times like you're like, oh, I have to get this done, but it's very important to take that step back and look inward and see if what it is that you need or that you want from somebody or something.
I see. And then the last question I have for you is, what advice do you have for up and coming musicians?
I just say keep going, because there's going to be easy days, there's going to be hard days, but it's all part of it. You got to take everything with a grain of salt, and take everything that people say, especially with a grain of salt, because some people can say something, say the exact same thing to you, but the way that they say it will get it in your head. And just making sure that people are what you want them to be, or not people, but like not taking everything that people say straight to the heart. And don't think that everybody, also don't just listen to everybody. Listen to people that you trust and want to grow from.
I see. Awesome. Yeah. And this next segment, as you know, I like to give to all my special guests a little segment to promote anything, shout out anyone that needs a shout out, stuff like that. So take it away. The moment's yours.
Well, as a music therapist, I'm going to take a minute to shout out the music therapy organization that we have here on campus. I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing. I think it's a very important thing for music therapists to get together and to learn about each other, but not just for music therapists, because anybody can join the org. It's for anybody to learn more about music therapy, and yeah, just get into it.
Awesome. Yeah. And then last thing, I like to ask all my special guests to recommend one song to be out on playlist forever. Of course, like you told me beforehand, you don't really know anything, but like we mentioned earlier, jazz is evolving in modern music. Mm-hmm. So what song would you like to recommend today?
I think I would like to recommend "Lover Girl" by Leve. Pretty good song.
So I'm guessing this used to be a segment on the old Jazzy Fridays questions, where is it jazz or not? We got rid of that question for the old time listeners. But do you think Leve is jazz personally?
I think she is more jazz focused than others. So I would say probably about, I don't know. I don't want to give percentages because I don't want to be wrong. But I think she's like probably definitely more than average. Jazz.
Okay. Oh, and I need to ask this too. To see if the audience will be on your side or not. Do you think Frank Sinatra is jazz? This is the last thing we'll end off with.
I really don't want to answer this question because I feel like no matter what I'm going to say, I'm going to get hate for it.
They got to answer. Me and Elliot have both answered beforehand.
I do think that it is. He is, because I think that he's just a very, I don't know. Also, never mind. Okay. I was going to ask you a question, but I realized that I probably shouldn't do that.
Okay, yeah. Not allowed in the special guest interview segment. Okay, anyways. Well, of course, the last thing left for us to do is take a Polaroid picture of guests so we can finally add the third co-host onto the Polaroid board. So if you want to check out what pose Greenlee picked out, of course, check out the Instagram at Jazzy Fridays. But yeah, thank you once again, Greenlee, for helping out with the show and also being the special guest today. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Jazz Talk, where I interview local jazz musicians. We'll be right back with more. Make sure to stay tuned. This is Jazzy Fridays, only on KWTS 91.1 FM.